Lisa Monroe stared at the star chart displayed on her screen. Something was wrong. The blue-skinned alien captain of their ship walked behind her, checking the work of his crew members. Captain Zektar had 4 arms and eyes that could see colors humans could not. He was smart and fair, but today he seemed nervous. The ship was called Starweaver. It was big and silver, with engines that could travel faster than light. Lisa worked as the navigation officer. She was one of only 3 humans on the entire ship. The rest of the crew came from 12 different alien worlds. "Captain," Lisa called out, "I found something strange in our records." Zektar walked over to her station. His blue skin had small scales that caught the light. "What is it, Officer Monroe?" Lisa pointed to a dark area on the star map. "This sector here. It shows no civilizations at all, no trade routes, no exploration records. But look at this." She pressed a button and the display changed. "There are over 200 worlds in this area that could support life. Good stars and stable planets. Someone should live there." The bridge became quiet, too quiet. Lisa looked around and saw the other crew members had stopped working. They were all listening. Dr. Patricia Wells, the ship's doctor and Lisa's best friend, looked up from her medical station. She was the second human on the ship. Patricia had brown hair and kind eyes. She always helped Lisa when the alien crew members acted strange. The third human was Jake Morrison. He worked at the weapons station, though their ship was built for science, not war. Jake was tall and strong with short black hair. He came from a military family back on Earth. "Captain?" Lisa asked again. "Why are there no records for this sector?" Zektar's 4 hands moved nervously. Behind him, the science officer made a sound like glass breaking. Gralvek was made of living crystal. His body could change colors when he felt different emotions. Right now, he was turning dark red. "That sector is restricted," Zektar finally said. His voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Restricted by who?" Lisa asked. "By ancient law of the Confederation Council," said Gralvek. His crystal body was now almost black. "No ship may enter. No questions may be asked." Lisa looked at her screen again. The dark area was huge. It covered 50 light years in every direction. That was bigger than most star nations in the galaxy, but why? She asked. "What's so dangerous about empty space?" The chief engineer, a furry alien named Thylos, suddenly stood up. "I must check the engines," he said quickly. Thylos was usually friendly and liked to talk about his 7 children back home. Now he ran from the bridge like something was chasing him. Lisa turned to the ship's computer. "Computer, show me all information about Sector 7 Alpha 9. The computer's voice was calm and electronic. "Information classified by Council Directive 001 Alpha. Access denied." "What level of clearance do I need?" "Information classified by Council Directive 001 Alpha. Access denied." Lisa had never heard of a directive that blocked even basic questions. She looked at Captain Zektar. His blue skin had gone pale. "Captain, as navigation officer, I need to know about all restricted areas. It's my job to keep the ship safe." Zektar's 4 arms crossed over his chest. "Some things are better left unknown, Officer Monroe. Plot a course away from that sector. We will continue our survey mission in the next system." But Lisa could not stop thinking about it. During her off-duty time, she went to the ship's library. She searched through old star charts and exploration records. Every map showed the same thing. A big empty space where something should be. She found Patricia in the medical bay. Her friend was studying alien plants that might be used for medicine. "Patricia, have you ever heard of something called the Quiet Zone?" Patricia's hand stopped moving. She looked around to make sure they were alone. "Where did you hear that name?" "I found it in an old file fragment. It was connected to the restricted sector." Patricia put down her tools. "Dr. Harrison used to work on this ship before me. He was the medical officer for 10 years. Smart man, good doctor. One day he mentioned something about a quiet zone. Said it was where the stars stopped shining." "What happened to him?" 3 days later, he got new orders. Transferred to a research station near the Galactic core. I tried to contact him after I took this job, but his station said he never arrived. No record of him anywhere. Lisa felt cold. He just disappeared? "That's what happens when people ask too many questions about certain things," Patricia said. "Lisa, maybe you should let this go." But Lisa could not let it go. That night, she lay in her small room and stared at the ceiling. The ship hummed around her as it traveled through space. Somewhere out there was a huge area that everyone was afraid to talk about. An area with 200 worlds that could support life, but supposedly had no one living on them. She thought about Earth, her home world. Humans had only been part of the galactic community for 50 years. Before that, they thought they were alone in the universe. Earth was a small planet with one moon, orbiting a yellow star. Nothing special about it compared to the great worlds of the galaxy, but humans were curious. They asked questions that made other species uncomfortable. They explored places others avoided. Maybe that was why there were so few humans in the galactic fleet. The next morning, Lisa checked the navigation charts again. They were 3 days away from the restricted sector, close enough to see it on their long-range sensors, but not close enough to trigger any alarms. She made a decision that would change everything. "Captain Zektar," she said, "I'm reading some unusual readings on our sensors. They might indicate a navigation hazard. I recommend we move closer to investigate." Zektar looked at her station. The readings were real. Lisa had not lied. She had simply adjusted their course to bring them near the edge of the restricted zone. "Very well," Zektar said, "but we maintain safe distance. Any sign of danger, we retreat immediately." As the Starweaver moved toward the mysterious sector, Lisa noticed something strange. The closer they got, the more nervous the alien crew members became. Their hands shook. Their voices got quiet. Some started making excuses to leave their stations. Only the 3 humans seemed normal. Something was out there in the dark, something that made every alien in the galaxy afraid, something that humans, for some reason, could not sense. Lisa was determined to find out what it was. The Starweaver moved slowly toward the edge of the restricted sector. Captain Zektar sat in his chair, all 4 of his hands gripping the armrests. His blue skin had turned almost white. Lisa had never seen him so afraid. "Sensors show an energy barrier ahead," Jake Morrison reported from his station. "It's not solid. More like a field of some kind." "What type of field?" asked Dr. Patricia Wells. She had come to the bridge to monitor the crew's health. Several aliens were showing signs of stress. "I don't know," Jake said. "I've never seen anything like it. The computer can't identify it either." Lisa watched her navigation display. The energy field stretched across space like an invisible wall. It was huge, covering the entire border of the restricted sector. Ships could pass through it, but something about it felt wrong. "Captain," said Gralvek, the crystal science officer. His body was flashing red and black now. "I strongly advise we turn back. The readings are disturbing." "What kind of readings?" Lisa asked. Gralvek's crystal form trembled. "Space itself is wrong here. Gravity behaves strangely. Time moves differently. And there's something else, something that makes my mind scream." Lisa looked at her own instruments. She saw the strange readings Gralvek mentioned. Space did seem different here, but she felt no fear, no sense of wrongness. To her, it was just unusual energy patterns. Chief Engineer Thylos called from the engine room. His voice was shaking. "Captain, my team refuses to work. They say the engines feel evil. They've locked themselves in their quarters." "Evil engines?" Jake asked. "That doesn't make sense." Captain Zektar stood up slowly. "It makes perfect sense to those who can feel it. Officer Monroe, I want you to plot a course away from here. Maximum speed." "Wait," Lisa said. "Let me take a shuttle and investigate. If there's really a navigation hazard, we need to report it properly." "Absolutely not," Zektar said. "No one goes near that barrier." But Lisa had an idea. "What if only humans investigate? We don't seem to be affected by whatever's scaring the rest of you." Patricia stepped forward. "Lisa's right. I'm monitoring everyone's vital signs. All the aliens show extreme stress. Heart rates up, stress hormones flooding their systems. But Jake, Lisa, and I are completely normal." "That's impossible," Gralvek said. "How can you not feel it? It's like standing next to a black hole. Death itself radiates from that barrier." Jake checked his weapons systems. "I'm reading normal space, Captain. A little unusual, but nothing dangerous." Lisa made her decision. "Captain, I request permission to take a shuttle with Dr. Wells and Officer Morrison. We'll do a quick scan of the barrier and return within 2 hours." Zektar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he nodded. "Very well. But at the first sign of trouble, you return immediately. And if we lose contact with you, we leave." 20 minutes later, Lisa piloted a small shuttle away from the Starweaver. Patricia sat next to her, monitoring their instruments. Jake was in the back, watching their rear sensors. "The main ship is moving away from us," Jake reported. Fast, Lisa looked back. The Starweaver was already several thousand kilometers behind them, and getting farther away every second. They're really scared. I still don't understand why, Patricia said. All I see is an energy field. Unusual but not threatening. They moved closer to the barrier. Lisa's instruments showed it was made of some kind of exotic energy. It covered an area of space larger than most star systems. The field pulsed gently like a heartbeat. I'm detecting some kind of technology, Patricia said. This isn't natural. Someone built this? Built it for what? Jake asked. Lisa flew the shuttle right up to the edge of the barrier. This close, she could see it shimmer like heat waves. Only one way to find out. She pushed the shuttle forward. They passed through the barrier like it was made of light. For a moment, everything went quiet. Then their instruments came back online. We're through, Lisa announced. Any effects? Patricia asked, checking her medical scanners. Nothing. We're fine. But as they looked around, they realized they were not in empty space anymore. Stars filled the view ahead of them. Lots of stars. And around those stars they could see the lights of space stations and ships. Lisa, Jake said quietly, look at your long-range sensors. Lisa checked her display and gasped. The sensors showed dozens of inhabited worlds. Space stations. Mining operations. Ship traffic. This wasn't empty space at all. It was full of civilization. That's impossible, Patricia said. The charts show this sector as uninhabited. Jake was looking at his tactical display. I'm picking up ships, big ones. They're moving toward us, Lisa saw them too. 3 large vessels approaching fast. They were sleek and powerful, unlike anything in the Confederation fleet. And they were heading straight for the shuttle. Should we run? Patricia asked. Where? Lisa replied. They're faster than us. The lead ship sent a communication signal. Lisa answered it, and a hologram appeared in front of them. It showed a woman in a military uniform. She had brown hair and sharp eyes. Most importantly, she was human. This is Commander Sarah Blake of the Terran defense ship Vigilant, the woman said. Please identify yourselves. Lisa stared at the hologram. You're human? Yes, and so are you, judging by your ship's design. What are you doing in Confederation space? Confederation space? Jake asked. We just came from Confederation space. We're part of the Galactic Survey Fleet. Commander Blake's expression changed. You're from outside the barrier? That's impossible. No Confederation ship has crossed in 300 years. 300 years, Patricia said. What are you talking about? How many humans are in the Confederation fleet? Blake asked. 3, Lisa answered. Jake, Patricia, and me. We're the only ones on our ship. Blake was quiet for a moment. Then she said, you need to come with us. There are things you need to know. Things about humanity that the Confederation has kept hidden. What kind of things? Lisa asked. The kind that will change everything you thought you knew about humans and aliens, Blake replied. Follow my ship. We're going to take you somewhere safe, somewhere you can learn the truth. Lisa looked at Patricia and Jake. They both nodded. Lisa activated her engines and followed the strange human ship deeper into the restricted sector. Behind them, the barrier closed like a door. The Starweaver was on the other side, probably thinking they were dead. Captain Zektar would report that the humans had been lost investigating the Forbidden Zone, but they were not lost. They were found. As they flew through space full of human ships and stations, Lisa realized that everything she had been told about humanity's place in the galaxy was wrong. Humans were not new to space. They were not junior members of the galactic community. They were something else, entirely. Something that had been hidden for 3 centuries. Something that made every alien species in the galaxy afraid to ask questions. Lisa's shuttle followed Commander Blake's ship through space that should have been empty. Instead, she saw wonders that took her breath away. Massive space stations orbited distant suns. Ships moved between planets in organized patterns. Cities of light floated in the darkness. How is this possible? Patricia whispered. They docked with Commander Blake's ship, a vessel 3 times larger than the Starweaver. The docking bay was clean and modern, filled with advanced technology Lisa had never seen before. Commander Blake met them at the airlock. She was tall and confident, wearing a dark blue uniform with strange insignia. Behind her stood other humans, all in similar uniforms. Welcome to the Terran defense ship Vigilant, Blake said. I'm sorry for the secrecy, but we had to make sure you were really from the Confederation. We are, Lisa said. But I don't understand any of this. Who are you people? How long have you been here? Blake gestured for them to follow her. Come, there's someone you need to meet. They walked through corridors that gleamed with clean metal and soft lighting. Humans worked at control stations, operating technology that seemed decades ahead of anything on Confederation ships. Everyone looked healthy and confident. Blake led them to a meeting room with a large window. Through it, Lisa could see a planet covered in cities, lights spread across continents like glowing webs. That's New Terra, Blake explained. Population 400 million. It's one of our smaller colonies. Colonies? Jake asked. How many do you have? 312 inhabited worlds, said a new voice. They turned to see an older man entering the room. He had gray hair and wore a uniform with more decorations than Blake's. His presence commanded respect. This is Admiral Marcus Wright, Blake said. He commands this sector. Admiral, Lisa said. We're from the survey ship Starweaver. We found this place by accident. Wright smiled, but it was a sad smile. Not by accident, Officer Monroe. We've been watching your ship for weeks. We hoped that eventually, some humans would find their way here. Patricia stepped forward. Admiral, with respect, none of this makes sense. Humans only joined the galactic community 50 years ago. We came from one planet, Earth. How can you have hundreds of colonies? Wright sat down at the table and gestured for them to do the same. What did they teach you about human history in space? The truth, Lisa said. Earth developed faster than light travel in 2157. We found the galactic community and joined the Confederation. We're still new members, still learning. That's what they want you to believe, Wright said. But it's not the truth. The truth is much more complicated. He pressed a button on the table. A holographic display appeared showing star charts and historical data. Humans did develop faster than light travel in 2157, Wright continued. But we didn't join the galactic community. We conquered it. The room went silent. Lisa stared at the hologram, which showed human ships moving across the galaxy in wave after wave. That's impossible, Patricia said. Humans aren't conquerors. We're explorers. We're both, Wright replied. When humans first encountered alien species, we tried to be peaceful. We offered trade, friendship, cooperation, but the aliens saw us as primitives from a backwater world. They tried to make us follow their laws, worship their gods, accept their social systems. The hologram changed, showing images of early human-alien meetings. In every picture, the aliens looked down on the humans with obvious contempt. Humans believe in freedom, Wright said. Personal freedom, freedom of thought, freedom to choose your own path. These concepts were alien to most galactic species. They lived in rigid hierarchies, caste systems, religious dictatorships. Jake leaned forward. What happened? War, Wright said simply. The aliens demanded that humans submit to their authority. Humans refused. For 50 years, we fought across half the galaxy. The hologram showed battles between human and alien fleets. The human ships were smaller but faster. They used tactics the aliens couldn't understand. We won, Wright continued. Not through superior numbers or bigger weapons, but through superior thinking. Humans adapt. We improvise. We refuse to give up. These traits made us nearly impossible to defeat. Lisa looked at the images of human victory. So we ruled the galaxy? For a time. But ruling people who don't want to be ruled is exhausting. It corrupts the rulers and makes the ruled hate you. Our leaders realized that conquest wasn't the answer. Wright stood and walked to the window. General Marcus Stone, my great-grandfather, proposed a different solution. Humans would withdraw from galactic affairs. We would take our technology and our people and disappear. Disappear where? Patricia asked. Wright gestured to the planet outside. Here. We chose an isolated sector of space and built our own civilization. The barrier you passed through isn't just a cloaking device. It's a gift to the galaxy. It hides us from them and them from us, but why? Lisa asked. If humans were so successful, why give up? Blake answered this time. Because success without consent isn't really success. The aliens feared us, hated us, but they couldn't defeat us. That's no way to live. Wright nodded. We gave the aliens back their freedom. They were allowed to rebuild their civilizations, form their confederation, and govern themselves. All we asked was to be left alone. The Confederation thinks we're newcomers, Jake realized. They don't know about the war. Official records were altered, Wright said. Both sides agreed to pretend the conquest never happened. Humans would be introduced to galactic society as if for the first time. Only a few aliens in positions of power know the truth. Lisa thought about Captain Zektar's fear when they approached the barrier. That's why they're afraid. They know what's really out here. Some do, Wright said. The knowledge gets passed down through their leadership. They know that somewhere in the dark, humans are still watching, still capable of conquest if they choose it. Patricia looked at the holographic displays showing human worlds and fleets. How many of us are there? 12 billion humans across 300 worlds, Blake answered. We've been growing and advancing for 3 centuries. Our technology is now far ahead of anything in Confederation space. Wright turned back to them. Which brings us to why your arrival is so important. Long-range sensors have detected something approaching from outside the galaxy. Something vast and hostile. When it arrives, the Confederation won't be able to stop it. What kind of something? Jake asked. We don't know yet. But it's big enough to threaten entire star systems. The aliens will need our help to survive. Lisa understood now. But first they'll need to know we exist. Exactly, Wright said. For 300 years we've stayed hidden. But that time is ending. The galaxy is about to face a threat that will require all of us, human and alien, working together. He looked at each of them in turn. You 3 are the first Confederation humans to learn the truth. The question is, what do you want to do about it? Lisa looked out at the human planet below, then at her friends. Patricia and Jake both nodded. We need to go back, Lisa said. The aliens have a right to know, and if something's coming that threatens everyone, they need time to prepare. Wright smiled, and this time it wasn't sad. I was hoping you'd say that. Welcome to the Real Human Space Program. Admiral Wright led Lisa, Patricia, and Jake through the corridors of the massive space station that orbited New Terra. The station was called Haven Point, and it served as the headquarters for the Terran Defense Force. I want to show you something, Wright said as they entered a vast observation deck. The view took their breath away. Below them, the planet New Terra glowed with the lights of civilization. But around them, space was filled with activity. Ships moved in orderly patterns between planets. Space elevators stretched from worlds to orbital stations. Mining platforms harvested resources from asteroids. This is just one system, Wright explained. We have 300 like it. Jake watched a group of warships conducting training exercises. The ships were sleek and fast, using technology he didn't recognize. Those ships look incredibly advanced. They are, said a woman walking up behind them. 3 centuries of hidden development will do that. Wright turned. Lisa, Patricia, Jake, I'd like you to meet Dr. Helen Carter. She's our chief scientist and historian. Dr. Carter was middle-aged with silver hair and intelligent eyes. She carried a tablet computer that projected holographic displays as she spoke. Dr. Carter has been studying the approaching threat, Wright said. Helen, show them what we're dealing with. Carter activated her tablet. A 3-dimensional star map appeared in the air. It showed the galaxy from outside like looking down at a spinning disk of stars. At the edge of the map, something dark was moving toward them. This is what our long-range sensors detected 6 months ago, Carter said. We call it the Void Fleet. Lisa studied the display. How big is it? Roughly 10,000 ships, each one the size of a small moon. They're traveling at about half the speed of light, which means they'll reach the outer edge of the galaxy in approximately 8 years. Patricia looked sick. 10,000 ships? Each one the size of a moon? At minimum, Carter said. Our sensors can't penetrate their hulls, so we don't know what's inside them. But based on their energy signatures, each ship has enough firepower to destroy a planet. Jake was doing math in his head. The entire Confederation fleet has maybe 5,000 ships, and most of them are exploration vessels, not warships. Exactly, Wright said. The aliens can't stop this threat alone, but together we might have a chance. Carter changed the display to show human and alien territories. The Confederation controls about 40% of the galaxy. We control 30%. The rest is unexplored or controlled by minor species. We need everyone, Wright continued. Every ship, every world, every resource. This isn't a human problem or an alien problem. It's a galaxy problem. Lisa walked closer to the hologram. What do we know about these Void Fleet aliens? Very little, Carter admitted. They appeared at the edge of our sensor range without warning. No communications, no attempts at contact. They're just heading straight for the galactic core, destroying everything in their path. Destroying everything? Patricia asked. Carter nodded grimly. They've already consumed 3 small galaxy clusters outside our local group. Every star system they visit goes dark. No survivors, no wreckage, nothing left behind. Wright touched a control on the table. The display changed to show a recording from a deep space probe. "This was recorded at the edge of the Andromeda Galaxy 2 years ago," he said. The recording showed a beautiful spiral galaxy full of stars. Then, like a shadow falling across it, darkness spread from the outer edge toward the center. Star by star, the galaxy went dark. Within the span of the recording, which covered several months, the entire galaxy was consumed. 300 billion stars, Carter said quietly. Gone. The room was silent. Lisa felt a chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning. "How do we fight something like that?" Jake asked. "We don't know yet," Wright admitted. "But we have 8 years to figure it out. The first step is bringing humans and aliens back together." A young officer approached their group. "Admiral, sorry to interrupt. We have a communication from the Council." Wright nodded. "Thank you, Lieutenant Brown." He turned to Lisa and her friends. "The Terran Council wants to meet you. You're about to learn just how big this hidden empire really is." They took a shuttle to the planet's surface. New Terra looked like Earth but felt different. The cities were cleaner, more organized. Technology was seamlessly integrated into daily life. People moved quickly but seemed happy and relaxed. 400 million people live on this world alone, Wright explained as they traveled to the capital city. "But it's just one of many." The council building was massive, made of gleaming metal and crystal. Inside, a circular chamber held representatives from dozens of human colonies. Each delegate wore the uniform of their world, creating a rainbow of colors and styles. At the center of the chamber sat a woman who radiated authority. She was about 60 years old, with short gray hair and piercing blue eyes. When she spoke, everyone listened. "I am Admiral Susan Wright, Council Leader," she said. "Marcus is my brother. We welcome you to the true human civilization, Lisa." Patricia and Jake stood in the center of the chamber, surrounded by representatives of worlds they never knew existed. "You come from the Confederation," Susan continued. "You've lived among aliens thinking you were part of their community. How do you feel now that you know the truth?" Lisa thought carefully before answering. "Confused, scared, but also amazed. All this time, we thought humanity was weak and small. We were trying so hard to prove ourselves worthy of joining galactic civilization. And now I realize we never needed their approval. We're not junior partners. We're equals. Maybe more than equals." Susan smiled. "Good answer. But there's something else you need to understand. We didn't just hide from the aliens. We've been protecting them." A new holographic display appeared, showing incidents across the galaxy over the past 3 centuries. "Asteroid strikes diverted at the last moment," Susan explained. "Plague ships destroyed before they could reach populated worlds. Pirates and raiders who mysteriously disappeared. Wars that ended suddenly when one side gained access to advanced weapons." Patricia stared at the data. "You've been secretly helping them." "For 300 years, Susan confirmed. "They think they've been governing themselves, but we've been preventing disasters they never knew about. Protecting them from threats they couldn't handle." Jake was amazed. "They have no idea." "None," said Marcus Wright. "Until now. The Void Fleet is too big for secret intervention. We're going to have to reveal ourselves." Susan stood and walked to the center of the chamber. "The question is how. Do we announce ourselves gradually or all at once? Do we offer partnership? Or do we simply take control for their own good?" "Neither," Lisa said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. "We tell them the truth, all of it. The conquest, the withdrawal, the protection. We give them the choice to work with us or face the Void Fleet alone." "Even if they choose to face it alone?" Susan asked. Lisa nodded. "Even then. Because that's what makes us different from the Void Fleet. We give people choices." Patricia stepped forward. "Lisa's right. If we force them to accept our help, we're no better than conquerors," Jake agreed. "And if we're going to fight together, it has to be as equals, not as masters and subjects." Susan looked around the chamber. Other council members nodded their agreement. "Very well," she said. "Lisa Monroe, Patricia Wells, Jake Morrison, you have a mission. Return to Confederation space. Tell them who we really are. Prepare them for what's coming." She paused, then added, "And pray that they're brave enough to accept our help. Because if they're not, we're all going to die." 3 days later, Lisa stood on the bridge of her shuttle as they approached the energy barrier. Behind them, the hidden human empire continued its daily life. Ahead lay the Confederation and the most difficult conversation in galactic history. "Are you ready for this?" Patricia asked from the co-pilot seat. Lisa checked their communications equipment one more time. Admiral Susan Wright had given them a special transmitter that could reach any Confederation ship in the galaxy. Today, they would use it to change everything. No, Lisa admitted. But we don't have a choice. Jake monitored their rear sensors. The escort ships are maintaining distance. They won't cross the barrier unless we need help. Behind them, 3 Terran defense ships waited at the edge of human space. They carried enough firepower to destroy a small fleet, but their orders were simple: observe and protect. No matter what happened, they would not attack unless Lisa and her crew were in immediate danger. The shuttle passed through the barrier. Once again, Lisa felt nothing unusual. To her, it was just empty space. But she knew that on the other side, every alien sensor would suddenly detect 3 humans where none had been before. Contact the Starweaver, Lisa ordered. Patricia activated their communicator. TDS Starweaver, this is Shuttle 7. Do you copy? Static filled the channel for several seconds. Then Captain Zektar's voice came through, filled with disbelief. Shuttle 7? Officer Monroe, is that you? We lost your signal 3 days ago. We thought you were dead. We're alive, Captain, and we need to talk. Emergency meeting in the main conference room. Of course. Doc, immediately. Medical teams are standing by. We don't need medical teams, sir, but we do need to discuss something that affects the entire galaxy. 30 minutes later, Lisa, Patricia, and Jake sat across from Captain Zektar and his senior officers in the Starweaver's conference room. The alien crew members looked nervous and confused. You disappeared for 3 days, Zektar said. Our sensors showed you entering the restricted zone, then nothing. How did you survive? Captain, Lisa began. What I'm about to tell you will be difficult to believe, but everything I say is true, and I have proof. She activated the special transmitter Admiral Wright had given her. A holographic recording appeared above the conference table. It showed Admiral Susan Wright in her council chamber. Greetings, members of the Galactic Confederation. The recording began. I am Admiral Susan Wright, leader of the Terran Council. For 300 years, humanity has remained hidden from galactic affairs. Today, that changes. The aliens around the table stared at the hologram in shock. Captain Zektar's blue skin went pale. 3 centuries ago, the recording continued, humanity fought a war across half the galaxy. We won that war, but chose peace over dominion. We withdrew to a hidden sector of space, allowing you to rebuild your civilizations in freedom. Gralvek, the crystal science officer, began flashing bright red. Impossible. Humans only joined the galaxy 50 years ago. Since our withdrawal, the recording went on, we have watched and protected you. Disasters prevented, threats eliminated, wars ended before they could consume entire worlds. You thought you were governing yourselves. In truth, we were your silent guardians. Chief Engineer Thylos stood up suddenly. This is a trick. Some kind of alien propaganda. Lisa spoke calmly. It's not a trick, Thylos. I've seen their worlds. Hundreds of them. Billions of humans living in advanced civilizations. Everything in that recording is true. But why tell us now? Captain Zektar asked. The holographic Admiral Wright answered that question. Because a threat approaches that we cannot handle alone. In 8 years, an extragalactic force will reach our galaxy. 10,000 ships, each capable of destroying planets. They have already consumed other galaxies. Now they come for us. The room went silent. Lisa could hear the hum of the ship's engines and the breathing of frightened aliens. The Void Fleet, as we call them, cannot be stopped by any single species. The recording continued. It will require all of us working together. Humans and aliens, former enemies united against extinction. Patricia leaned forward. Captain, I've seen the sensor data. This threat is real. If we don't work together, everyone dies. Jake activated his tablet, showing images of the approaching fleet. 10,000 ships, each one the size of a moon. The entire Confederation fleet wouldn't last an hour against them. Captain Zektar studied the images with growing horror. What are they? We don't know, Lisa admitted. But they destroy everything they encounter. Entire galaxies go dark when they pass through. So humans want to rule us again? Gralvik said bitterly. You use fear to make us submit. No, Lisa said firmly. We're offering partnership. Equals working together. If you refuse, we'll respect that choice. But then you'll face the Void Fleet alone. The holographic recording began its conclusion. We know this revelation will shock you. We know some of you will be angry, others afraid. Those are natural reactions. But we hope you will also see this as an opportunity. Admiral Wright's image looked directly at Captain Zektar. Humanity never wanted to be your masters. We wanted to be your friends. Perhaps now finally we can be. The recording ended. The conference room remained silent for a long time. Finally, Captain Zektar spoke. What exactly are you proposing? Lisa had prepared for this question. Joint task forces. Shared technology. Combined fleets. Humans have the advanced weapons and ships. Aliens have numbers and diverse skills. Together we might have a chance, and if we refuse, asked Thylos. Then you refuse, Patricia said simply. We won't force you, but the Void Fleet is coming whether we work together or not. Gralvek's crystal body was cycling through different colors as he processed the information. How do we know you're telling the truth about this threat? How do we know it's not just an excuse to conquer us again? Jake stood up. Because if we wanted to conquer you, we wouldn't need an excuse. You've seen what just 3 human ships look like. We have thousands. Captain Zektar was quiet for several minutes. Finally, he said, I need to contact the Confederation Council. This decision is too big for one ship, Captain. Of course, Lisa agreed. But while you're discussing it, the clock is ticking. 8 years sounds like a long time, but preparing for a threat this big will take every day we have. Over the next week, the Starweaver remained at the edge of the restricted zone, while emergency sessions convened across Confederation space. Some alien leaders were angry about the deception. Others were grateful to learn about their hidden protectors. Most were simply terrified of the approaching Void Fleet. Lisa spent her time answering questions and sharing what she had learned about human civilization. The full truth about the conquest shocked many aliens, but the revelation about 3 centuries of protection surprised them even more. On the 7th day, Captain Zektar received a message from the Confederation Council. The vote was close, he told Lisa, but the Council has agreed to meet with human representatives. They want to discuss terms for an alliance. Lisa smiled for the first time in days. I'll contact Admiral Wright. There are conditions, Zektar continued. The humans must share all information about the Void Fleet. They must provide proof of their protective activities over the past 3 centuries. And they must agree to equal partnership, not leadership. I think those terms are reasonable, Lisa said. Patricia was already preparing for their return to human space. When do we start? Immediately, Zektar replied. Because regardless of our past differences, we have 8 years to save the galaxy. Jake looked out at the stars, thinking about the vast fleet approaching from the darkness beyond. Do you think we can do it? Lisa followed his gaze. Somewhere out there, 10,000 ships the size of moons were coming to destroy everything they had ever known. But also out there, humans and aliens were finally coming together as equals. I don't know, she said honestly, but for the first time in 300 years we're going to try together. The stars no longer stopped at Earth's borders. Humanity was stepping back into the light, no longer as conquerors or hidden guardians, but as partners in the fight for survival. Whether that would be enough remained to be seen.